morning, I'm Charlie Frost. Ian Huntley, the school caretaker who murdered two 10-year-old girls in Cambridgeshire in 2002, has died after being attacked in prison. Huntley was serving a life sentence for killing best friends Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman in the town of Soham. Last week, he was bludgeoned with a makeshift weapon by another inmate. His life support was switched off yesterday. The Ministry of Justice have said Huntley's crime remains one of the most shocking and devastating in our nation's history. Geraint Vincent reports.
Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman, best friends, who went missing after going to buy sweets one summer's evening 24 years ago. Their disappearance sparked an intense search involving hundreds of police officers and volunteers in and around the small town of Soham in Cambridgeshire. One of those volunteers was Ian Huntley, a school caretaker who gave interviews to the media about how he had supposedly spoken to the girls on the day they went missing.
I keep reliving that conversation and thinking perhaps something different could have been said. Perhaps kept them here a little bit longer, maybe changed events.
That was all deception. He had in fact lured them into his home, killed them and dumped their bodies in a ditch 10 miles away, where they were found 2 weeks later. After Huntley's conviction for double murder, Holly and Jessica's parents gave a press conference.
The only thing that I'd like to say is that the next time I have to see him is like we saw our daughters, and that's in a coffin.
Huntley was assaulted several times during his time in jail, but 22 years into his life sentence, he received fatal injuries at the maximum security prison at Frankland. He was on cleaning duty in a workshop when he was bludgeoned with a metal pole by another prisoner. His assailant is thought to be Anthony Russell, a convicted murderer and rapist. Huntley came to the kind of wretched end many will think he deserved, but the impact of his crimes lives on. Huntley's terrible crimes may have changed Britain, how it is policed and protected, but before all of that, they robbed two little girls of their lives and condemned the people who loved them to lifetimes of grief. Geraint Vincent, ITV News.
A week after it began, the war in the Middle East continues to rage. Iran came under heavy bombardment from the US and Israel overnight, and there were fresh strikes on Gulf states by Iran this morning, despite an apology from Iran's president, who said the army was being ordered to stop attacking the country's neighbours unless they were directly involved in attacks on Iran. Well, Lorna Shaddock has the latest.
This is what America's biggest bombing campaign yet looks like for those who execute it. Donald Trump's quest to force Iran's unconditional surrender entering its second week, with Tehran's commercial airport said to be among last night's targets.
We'll do the most damage to the Iranian missile launchers, the factories that build the missiles, and we are substantially degrading them. Our campaign has been overwhelming.
It's coming to the airport again. Yeah.
But Iran can still unleash its own destruction.
Oh my God.
This video appearing to show Dubai airport targeted, though Iran's president has apologised, saying the country will stop attacking its neighbours. Too late for the many Brits still stuck in the region, these though among the lucky ones, heading home on a second government repatriation flight from Oman, now touched down at Gatwick. But also arriving in the UK, several huge US bombers, now using RAF Fairford as a base for what the government calls defensive action.
What we're doing as the UK Armed Forces and what the UK is doing is protecting Britons who are in the region and protecting our interests, and that feels to me entirely right.
Later today, the man who sent his armed forces into danger will be present as 6 of them are returned in coffins. In the face of administration bravado, a reminder of the costs of conflict. Lorna Shaddock, ITV News.
Well, our correspondent John Ray is in Dubai. So, John, there appears to have been an attack on the airport there.
That's right, and it appears to render almost immediately hollow that apology from the Iranian president. No sooner had he promised to no longer attack Iran's Gulf neighbours, but air raid alarms sounded on mobile phones across Dubai. Remember, we are a few short miles away from Iran here, and the great weight of Iranian missiles and drones have been targeted on this place. Most of them intercepted, but it only takes one to get through, and that's what appears to have happened at the airport this morning, a near miss on the terminal building. Remember, this airport is the place through which many thousands of British holidaymakers have been evacuating. Today they were ushered out of the building. Flights were grounded for a while. So a sign of the vulnerability of Dubai, but also resilience, or at least a keenness of the authorities here to show that it is business as close to normal as they can make it. It was very soon reopened, and flights have resumed. Now, what about Iran's tone from their president? Well, it may be a significant change of tactic. It could be that this is a sign of divisions within the regime, because he was qualified by the head of the armed forces very shortly afterwards. But absolutely, Iran wants these rich Gulf nations to pressure the US into ending this war. One weekend, quite the opposite. The danger is still of escalation.
John Ray in Dubai, thank you very much. And that's all we have time for. The Six Nations Rugby means our next bulletin is at 10:25 tonight. In the meantime, you can always get the latest on ITVX and on our website and social media channels. Just search for ITV News. Have a great day. Goodbye.